Originally, they approached me and wanted to start a new bank. And I spent the first period of our discussions telling them why that's not a good idea. We don't want to start a new bank. The regulators don't want you to start new banks now. It's very expensive to start a new bank. And with the pricing that you can get on a bank acquisition now, this was a much more cost-effective way to go. And if we could find the right target bank, we knew we could turn it to profitability quickly. We didn't want to get into a very troubled institution, but we wanted to find one that wasn't meeting expectations. I had this one on the list, but it was towards the bottom because they were owned by a holding company. We had already looked at 2 banks, and it wasn't until we were fairly far down the list that we got wind of the challenges at the holding company level. And so we just made a call, and they were straightforward. They said the bank's not for sale. However, under the circumstances, would entertain an offer. So when this did become available, I refocused all my efforts on this because, first of all, it's in Santa Barbara, and we wanted to be in Santa Barbara. If we had acquired a bank in Thousand Oaks, we would have to open an office in Santa Barbara. So this was much easier because we wanted to be in Santa Barbara. That's where we add value, is in Santa Barbara. So it was already here. It was a small bank, so the loan portfolio was relatively small. So we could look at that, we could really get our arms around it, we could identify the problems and carve them out because we didn't want to buy problem assets. And the core bank was profitable. With the people that I have invested in the bank, we knew we were going to get a lot of business from them directly. But on top of that, they're extremely well connected in this community. So we also looked at the environment we were in and what's happening in this community and who's making loans in this community. And there's a very small segment of the banks that are really in the market to make loans right now. So while, yes, there's a limited amount of activity out there, there's also a very limited amount of people filling that need. And so we felt that with my experience, the experience of the whole group, and the connections that we had with the investor group, that we could be very successful in a market that had a significant void. At the time when we were looking at this, one of the biggest stories out there was what was happening at Santa Barbara Bank and Trust. And while we put that in our business plan and looked at we could benefit from it, at the time we did not foresee, I guess, the ongoing issues that were going to hit the press. And every interview I've done, everybody always asks me, well, what's your opinion? What's going to happen to them? And I'm not going to speculate on what's going to happen to them. But I can tell you that every time a story hits the paper that is negative press about any of our competitors in this marketplace, it rings positive for us because the community can look at this institution. We're extremely well capitalized. We are one of the highest capitalized banks in the community right now. We are in the market. We have lots of liquidity, core liquidity from our local depositors, and we're ready to do business. People see us as a sound financial institution, and they're looking for a safe harbor that they can feel comfortable to deposit their money and to get credit from what limited credit is out looking for a home out there.